I'm 98 years old. My hands don't look the way I remember them. The rings are too loose now. The skin folds in places it never used to. But I still remember the hands of the people I reached for. Every single one of them. And if I could go back, I wouldn't change my career. I raised children. I worked. I built a life with these hands. I don't regret any of that. I wouldn't change where I lived, the houses, the kitchens, the porches where I watched whole seasons pass. I would change the people I gave my love to, because I gave it to the wrong ones. And that is the one thing that follows you into old age, not the things you left unfinished, not the places you never got to see, the love you gave and where it went. When you are young, you think love is simple. You think if you care enough, if you stay loyal, if you keep showing up, if you make yourself available over and over again, it will mean something. It will come back to you. You think love is a kind of promise, that devotion is its own reward. I believed that my entire life. I believed it at 22, when I first thought I'd found the one. I believed it at 45, when I was still making excuses. I believed it at 68, when I was exhausted, but still holding on. And then one morning, sometime around 80, I was sitting by the window with my coffee going cold. And it came to me, not loudly, just quietly, the way the truth tends to arrive after a very long wait. I was wrong, not about love itself, but about where I kept placing it. I chose people who needed me, and I want you to understand something about that. Because it sounds like kindness, it sounds like strength, but needing someone and valuing someone are not the same thing, not even close. The people I chose needed me the way a drain needs water, constantly, automatically. And when I stepped away, they simply found someone else to pull down. They took my time, my steadiness. The part of me that stayed calm when everything else was falling apart, the part that showed up, even when I had nothing left to give. They took it without thinking and gave very little back. But I didn't see it that way then. I thought, this is what a good woman does. This is what love looks like. Sacrifice, patience, endless. Quiet understanding. I told myself things I now know were just fear dressed up as virtue. She'll change. He just needs more time. They don't mean it. Nobody's perfect. This is just how it is. So I stayed longer than I should have, through the coldness, through the years of feeling unseen, through the slow, quiet erosion of who I was. I told myself I was being strong, but I was just afraid that if I let go, there would be nothing left, afraid that maybe they were right about me. While I was holding on to the wrong people, I was letting go of the right ones. There was a woman I'd known since we were girls. She used to drive 40 minutes just to sit with me when things were hard. She never asked for anything. She never kept score. She just showed up with coffee and time and let me talk. There was a neighbor who noticed when I hadn't come outside in a few days, who left notes in my mailbox, small ones, just checking on you. Simple as that. There were people like that around me my whole life. People who gave quietly. People who didn't demand. People who loved without an agenda. And I took them for granted, not on purpose. Not with cruelty, just slowly. The way you stop noticing a lamp in a corner because you've gotten so used to the light it gives. I was always turned toward the ones who weren't giving enough. Trying to earn something, trying to fix something. Pouring everything I had into a cup that was always empty. and the ones who were already full, who were offering me something real. I kept telling them, later. I am busy. I am fine. By the time I turned around, some of them were gone. Not with a fight. Not with a scene. They just quietly stopped coming, the way people do when they realize you've chosen someone else over and over again. I think about them now. More than anyone else. Staying in the wrong relationships costs you more than time. Everyone warns you about the time. But time is almost the least of it. What it costs you, slowly and visibly, is your sense of what you deserve. When you stay long enough with someone who doesn't value you, you stop expecting to be valued. It stops feeling like a loss. It starts feeling normal. You become a woman who accepts less than she should, who explains away behavior that would have horrified a younger version of herself, who has quietly, without realizing it, lowered the bar and then lowered it again until the bar is on the floor and you are still finding ways to step over it. You stop trusting your own instincts because you spent so many years being made to feel like your instincts were the problem. I remember once, I must have been in my 50s. A colleague at work was just genuinely kind to me. No reason, no angle. She complimented my work and meant it. And my first reaction, my very first reaction, was suspicion. What does she want? Why is she being so nice? What is coming next? That is what years of the wrong people does to a woman. It makes real kindness feel like a warning sign. It makes warmth feel like a trap. And by the time I understood what had happened to me, I had spent the better years of my life teaching myself to distrust the very thing I needed most. For me, it didn't arrive as a breakdown. It didn't come with tears or a confrontation. It came in a garden, late afternoon. I was in my late 70s. The roses were doing what they do in September. That last desperate bloom before the cold, and I just sat there, not thinking exactly, more like watching. And then, without meaning to, I started looking back, the way you do when the future has gotten short enough that the past takes up most of the view. And I saw it. The pattern, the same shape, across 40, 50 years, me, giving me, staying me, hoping me, adjusting myself to fit people who never once adjusted themselves for me. And I thought, why did I keep choosing this? And then, harder, why did I believe I deserved this? Because somewhere buried under years of being a good daughter, a good wife, a good mother, a good friend, somewhere, under all of that good, I had learned that love was something you earned, something you worked for, something that had to be difficult, or it didn't count. Easy love felt suspicious to me. Steady love felt boring. I was drawn to the ones who made me prove myself because I had never learned that I didn't have to. That belief shaped everything, every choice, every door I walked through, every hand I reached for. And I never questioned it, not once, not until I was old enough. That questioning, it felt almost cruel. I sat in that garden until dark. I was grieving something, not a person, a life, the one I might have had. If only someone had told me sooner. I am 98 now. I have had a long time to sit with all of this. Long enough that the bitterness has softened. What is left is something quieter. Something I can finally look at without flinching. And here is what I know. What I wish I had known at 30. Love is not about how much you give. It is about who you give it to. You can pour everything you have into the wrong person and come away empty every time. Not because love failed, but because some people who are still running from themselves, people who never learn to receive, some people simply cannot hold what you offer them. It runs straight through, no matter how much you give. But the right people make things simple. They don't confuse you. They don't make you feel like a burden for having needs. They don't disappear when things get hard. They don't make you question at 2 a.m. whether you are too much or never enough. The right people let you be a whole woman, not the version of yourself that has been edited down to fit someone else's comfort. They don't require you to shrink or perform or earn your place over and over. And the mistake I made, the one I carry, the one I would undo, was believing that hard meant real, that if it didn't cost me something, it wasn't worth having, that love you had to suffer for was somehow deeper than love that simply held you. Real love is not hard in that way. It is honest. It is consistent. It is sometimes uncomfortable because growth is uncomfortable, but it does not make you disappear. It does not make you beg. It does not make you spend your evenings wondering why you are so easy to leave. If you are listening to me right now, look at the people in your life, not the ones you are trying to fix, not the ones you are chasing, not the ones you are still hoping after all this time will finally see you. Look at the quiet ones, the ones who are already there, the ones who show up without being asked, the ones who make you feel without effort, like you belong exactly where you are. Don't lose them. Don't do what I did. Don't be so busy pouring yourself out that you forget the ones who would have filled you back up. Because one day, and it comes faster than you think, you will have more past than future. And you will understand the way I understand now, that it was never about finding more people. It was about choosing the right ones and staying and letting yourself be chosen back. When you finally understand that, it might already be too late. Or, if you are reading this while you are still young enough to change, it might be exactly the right time.